Garrett, effusive. He said, if you can talk about someone during the game, you can talk about Jason Witten all game long, and it would come short. I'm telling you, the kind of person, the kind of leader, the kind of player he has been. He needs those leaders and those veterans to try to save the Cowboys season for Jay Gruden. 5 wins, yet in first place. First time since 1999 that Washington enters December atop the NFC East. They're going to get the ball first. Dallas won the toss and deferred. So Kirk Cousins in Washington will match wits with Sean Lee and the Dallas defense to get us going here tonight. Whoever wins the East gets a spot in the tournament. Doesn't matter the record. Look at what Carolina did when they got in last year. So a lot to play for in the last quarter of the season, plus tonight's game. Dan Bailey kicks it. They're usually touchbacks. Off we go from Washington with another Bailey touchback. So Kirk Cousins and Washington will begin from their own 20-yard line. Taken out of Michigan State. Built the foundation that the Spartans have gone up on over the last few years since then. And John, as he's come into the league, picked in the same draft as Robert Griffin, but now emerging as the top quarterback Washington has.
Yeah, he's showing more command at the line of scrimmage. His ball security has improved. He's going to have to beat tight man-to-man coverage. 4 first-year starters on this offensive line. Can they block the Dallas Cowboys?
And so it begins from the 20 with play action, pass rush, and a sack out of the gate by DeMarcus Lawrence. His 4th of the season.
That's the big challenge. This Cowboy pass rush has only gotten home 20 times, but you're going to see Lawrence at the top of your screen. Number 90 on a stunt blitz. First play of the game, they bring Barry Church with a stunt, and it gets home.
Washington went without a turnover or a sack in the game last week against the Giants. It's the first time that it happened for the Redskins in a decade. And they are sacked on the very first play here tonight. 2nd and 15, and Cousins throws it quickly complete. Deshaun Jackson hops out of bounds at the 24-yard line. We're going to have 3rd and 6 coming up. These guys have to block better right out of the gate, led by Trent Williams, the 4th overall pick in the 2010 draft. Brandon Sheriff is the 5th overall pick in the draft. He's playing guard. Handling the ball, Jones and Morris split the carries. Jordan Reed is the top target. Deshaun Jackson can hit home runs as well as anyone in the league. Although it's been a quiet season, Jackson has 2 big touchdown catches the last 2 weeks. This is 3rd and 6. Cousins lost the ball as he was hit. Lawrence getting home again, and Cousins falls on it. So 2 sacks in the first 3 plays for Dallas's defensive end out of Boise State.
That's what the Cowboys must get going, their pass rush. And right tackle Morgan Moses and rookie right guard Brandon Sheriff on a TE stunt. Tackle in. No chance.
Press way, the lefty kicks it away for Washington. Good boot, flag down. It's a 49-yard kick. Lucky Whitehead on the Dallas return. Down the sideline, Whitehead pulled down as he enters Washington territory. Mason Foster made the special teams tackle, but that flag was thrown right back where Whitehead caught it at his own 35. Walt Anderson has worn the white hat in a couple of Super Bowls, and he will be in charge of our game here tonight. Let's see if that 26-yard return stands up for Whitehead.
Players on the receiving team. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. 4th down.
That'll help you with the 26-yard return. So
you see special teams coach Rich Bisaccia, he can't be pleased with that. That negates Great field position that you desperately need with a backup quarterback like Matt Castle.
Not the only option for Washington, and Whitehead will come back and stand in zone 45-yard line. He'll have to drop back a little bit on this spot to hope to catch the way punt. The last one drove him back to the 35. Bingo. 53 yards on the kick. And from the 28, Whitehead. Got a block with no flags. Gets to the edge, and Whitehead with Way, the punter, coming down to make the hit as that late flag flew in when he was tackled around midfield. That's a 22-yard return if it stands, but Way looked like a safety flying from his punting spot to make the tackle.
During the return, holding number 15, receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Wide receiver Devin Street. So that's a couple of bad punts. Dallas special teams issues out of the gate.
Take a look at Street, number 15. He's holding Quentin Dunbar, number 47. It's a good call. And a big penalty. Back-to-back big penalties on these Cowboys. And here's Matt Castle, Mike.
Matt Castle, quarterback here for Dallas. Started the season with Buffalo. Came in mop-up duty at the end of that Carolina game on Thanksgiving after the injury to Tony Romo. Now back as the starter for the Cowboys for the 5th time this year. Number 34, Castle throws high, too high, incomplete. As Bryant came out of his shoe as he was trying to cut in there. John, this is a guy who started for 5 different teams. But you said it earlier, when he got here a couple of weeks into the season, that's very difficult on a quarterback to pick up the system.
Very difficult. It's not Major League Baseball where you get traded and you just go line up and play third base and hit third in the order. He's had a hard time learning this system, and he's been trying to play by the book. Hard to do. Let's see how Matt Castle looks when he puts his own spin on this Cowboy offense.
Street in motion. It's a run for the first time tonight with Darren McFadden. He was grinding, lost the football in the pile. And let's see, it was late as he was going for the extra yards. Terrence Knighton feels like Washington's on it. Let's see how they umpile here. Haven't seen an official signal yet. Washington ball.
First time McFadden has fumbled all year. Ball is out. It's a huge break for the Redskins. And Darren McFadden, that's the one thing he's done a great job of, is secure the football. And it looks like it's out, Mike.
Yeah, you can see his feet there. No other body part came down to the ground. And the ball came free.
Number 68 and 79 are reporting. 68 and 79.
You're going to see some big tight ends in this Redskin offense tonight.
You see what you were alluding to with McFadden. More than a year since he turned it over. So in terms of a fumble, so now Washington gets the great field position and a sloppy start both ways. Washington's offensive line under pressure. Dallas with a couple of special teams mistakes. And that turnover. Cousins from the 38 will hand it. Alfred Morris will run inside the 35 to the 34. A pickup of 4.
Well, Jay Gruden said we're going to have trouble pass protecting. In that first series, we put in Tom Compton at tight end. Here's Nseki, another tackle. These are 2 tackles playing tight end, and they're just going to turn this into a middle scrimmage, Mike. Big bodies against big bodies, and let Alfred Morris go north and south.
17.
Sean Jackson trying to help Pierre Garçon, who's not sure what's going on this play. It's 2nd and 7. And it's a loss of a yard. Good surge by Nick Hayden.
Cousins needs to see that. It's the second time the Cowboys have blitzed right off the edge, and Kirk Cousins needs to get out of this running play. You do not want to run right into a free safety blitz where you're outnumbered. Dallas bringing perimeter pressures. That's not what Rod Marinelli, the defensive coordinator, has done all season. They have not been a blitzing defense. I like the aggressive start by this Cowboy defense.
Sets up 3rd and 8. Full pressure here. Cousins hanging it up for Deshaun Jackson. Incomplete. And the coverage of Morris Claiborne step for step now has brought a ton of pressure, and J.J. Wilcox got to Cousins just a second late.
It's all-out blitz. They bring every Cowboy they have. There's nobody in the middle of the field. There's an unblocked defender. You see Wilcox hitting Kirk Cousins, and there's Claiborne, Mike. He's back. He's been out with an injury. Ball's just slightly overthrown. Aggressive start for the Cowboy defense, and it's paid off.
It's the last 2 games did Claiborne with a hamstring injury. Way on to punch for the 2nd time tonight. Cole Beasley goes back. See if it's stopped inside the 10. How about inside the 5? Caught on the fly by Ryan Grant, and Dallas will have 96 yards to traverse. ESPN's Monday Night Football brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. Check out this week's excessive celebration at ddfieldpass.com. GMC, we are professional grade. NFL.com/Pro Bowl ballot. Vote to send your favorite player to Hawaii at NFL.com. And Navy Federal Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA. Scoreless here at FedEx Field. Our coverage from Spider Cam brought to you by DirecTV. Less than 4 minutes gone by, and this is the 4th possession of the game. Washington will take over officially from its own 5-yard line. McFadden fumbled on the last carry. He's back in behind Matt Castle. They'll take the handoff. Good hole open. He gets to the 10-yard line. D'Angelo Hall coming up on the stop. 3 first-round picks on this offensive front. Tyron Smith, Travis Frederick, and Zach Martin. Handling the ball for the Cowboys. Escobar will catch some. Witten going for that milestone 1,000 catches. The receivers, Des Bryant. See how that healthy week of practice helps him support Williams and Beasley and give more of a target to Matt Castle here tonight. There's 23 receptions on this season for Des Bryant. After the gain of 5, it's nothing for McFadden. He gets twisted back and hit hard. It's Mason Foster joined Terrence Knighton on the stop. This Washington defense is big old pot roast. Knighton in the middle with Baker, who played well against the Giants, and Jason Hatcher up front. Brian Kerrigan's the big sack man. They're missing Perry Riley Jr., so 54 Foster starts in his stead. In the secondary, Bashaud Breeland's the best corner. Goldson the leader. D'Angelo Hall playing both corner and safety. And Quentin Dunbar was a wide receiver, now overplaying DB. I'll watch D'Angelo Hall closely tonight as he adjusts to a new veteran role. 12th year in the league. 3rd and 5. Washington brings 5. And the pass is incomplete. They've gotten to the arm of Matt Castle as he was trying to complete it. Ryan Kerrigan around the end, forcing the 3 and out.
Well, Ryan Kerrigan is their best pass rusher, number 91. And he leads the Redskins in sacks. Joe Barry, the defensive coordinator of the Redskins, dials up some pressure. And another 3 and out.
Chris Jones to punt it. Jamison Crowder, the rookie out of Duke, back to receive. Jones' kick is 49 yards. Here's Crowder on the run. Trying to pick up blocks to the right. That one drew a flag, and it will come back. See, Carlos Fields, who's making his Washington debut, was signed here this week, trying to get his head in front of the player to avoid the block in the back.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 59, receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, Washington. Timeout.
Back to the 3rd drive for Washington in a minute. little bit of what we haven't seen from Dallas in the first couple of series.
Using a lot of line stunts. I call it the TE. You're going to see the tackle go first, the end goes second. They're trying to pick the young offensive linemen of the Redskins. Look at the left side of your screen. The defensive tackle goes first, and the defensive end stunts around the corner. He beats Josh Laribas. Then they got him again on that left side. It's a TE stunt. The tackle goes first, and then the end loops around second, and they go after rookie right guard Brandon Sheriff. Let's see if the Redskins have made some adjustments.
And DeMarcus Lawrence has been the beneficiary there with a couple of sacks, including one fumble that Cousins recovered. Now Jason Garrett has brought referee Walt Anderson over for a conversation, perhaps on how that last penalty was marked off. In conversation with the head linesman. This ball's marked at the 37-yard line for Washington to start this drive. Now Kirk Cousins making sure that he's got a full play clock to deal with here.
Let's play.
So officially, Lawrence has a sack and a half. They gave a split sack to Barry Church. Washington looking for its first down. It's Morris to the right, slips and falls after the gain of only a yard. We mentioned Lawrence with the pressure up front. He's a second-round pick out of Boise State. Tyrone Crawford up there as well, Nick Hayden and Greg Hardy. A lot of controversy stepping into this Dallas lineup as a regular. In the linebacking core, Sean Lee moved from the middle to the outside, playing very well, as McClain and Hitchens are also. We mentioned Claiborne's back, Brandon Carr's the other corner, and when they go nickel, you'll see a whole bunch tonight. Byron Jones, very good defensive back out of UConn. Pierre Garçon, first catch, just shy of the first down, as the man I just mentioned, Jones, makes the tackle, but you see the flag down where that block was being thrown, trying to spring Garçon.
It's like Jordan Reed blocking the perimeter.
Pass interference, number 86, offense. 10-yard penalty, still second down.
That's been heard here a time or two. Jordan Reed, much penalized this season.
Hard to believe on a quick screen that that's a penalty, but Walt Anderson is seeing it all tonight.
You see the numbers there with Reed. 10 offensive penalties, had 3 in the first half last week against the Giants. He's done a terrific job catching the ball for this Washington offense. But a league leader in a column you don't want to be. The rookie out of Florida, Matt Jones, is the running back for 2nd and 18. Dallas's D-line doing their communicating as Jones works to the right, he's only going to get a yard, and he gets hit hard. This Dallas defensive line having its way early on.
This is a top 10 defense. The only thing this Cowboy defense hasn't done under Rod Marinelli is generate turnovers. But right now they are controlling the line of scrimmage. And on these third down and long situations, the Redskin offense has been very conservative. They know they have 4 first-year starters. I don't expect to see Kirk Cousins hold the ball very long here.
Just a 3-man rush. Chris Thompson in as the releasing back, and crossing underneath. It is the catch by Garçon with very little room to go. Tracked down by Sean Lee. And it's a third 3-and-out to open the game for Washington.
It's a prevent defense, 3-man rush. It's a middle screen. McClain, Lee, 2 every down linebackers have done an excellent job together in this Cowboy defense. McClain is coming on.
Dallas had some good blocking on the return the last couple of times. Tressway steps into one, kicked it towards the sideline so it couldn't be returned. But he gave up some distance with that one. We'll check out where it's marked. It's going to be less than a 35-yard kick. Just 35. They'll mark it at the 35. That's where Dallas will take over, searching for the game's first down. Interested observers, fans of the Eagles and the Giants, and we'll have the Giants next Monday night in South Florida taking on Miami. There are 5 and 7 teams, and the Giants on a slide here. Those games they've given away, they've got to recapture some of those down the stretch. Important game for New York in Miami Monday night, 8:15 Eastern. 14 plays run, 8 total yards. Lucky Whitehead comes around to do what he does most often, does pretty well. A run there, trying to pull the ball out of his arms is D'Angelo Hall, but it's a gain of 12 yards and a first down. So when we saw Jason Garrett speaking to Walt Anderson a moment ago, we were trying to figure out what it was. The Surface tablets that they use on the sidelines, the electronics that have replaced the old Polaroids, were not working on the Dallas side. And for equity purposes, just making sure that the same thing was happening with Washington, that they didn't have access. Very similar to when headsets went out on one side, the other side couldn't use them. Garrett making sure that that was communicated, and is the case. From the 48 on first down, Castle, it's high and incomplete. Intended for Dez Bryant. Matt Castle hasn't been sharp on his early throws. John, we've seen a whole bunch of Matt Castle over the years, and he's seen a lot of different offensive coordinators. Going back to his Patriots days, Chan Gailey and Charlie Weiss when he went to Kansas City as a free agent. Then Bill Muir and Brian Daboll for the end of his 4-year run in KC. A couple of years in Minnesota was Bill Musgrave and Norv Turner last year. This year, Greg Roman when he went to Buffalo. Since learning all that offense, and then hit the reset button and come see Scott Linehan, the offensive coordinator here in Dallas. McFadden, only a yard. Mason Foster with the tackle.
Well, Dallas needs to run the football. Last week they had 31 yards rushing. I can't remember Dallas ever rushing for 31 yards. They haven't rushed for a touchdown in 5 weeks, Mike. They have to get the running game going to set up the play-action pass. And I know Scott Linehan is going to keep probing this Redskin defense that has struggled stopping the run.
39, Washington extra DB. Washington brings 5. Castle shooting downfield, and it's incomplete, intended for Terrence Williams, who tried to bring it in down the sideline.
Rashad Breeland is about the only cornerback that I recognize on this Redskin team. Here he is against Terrence Williams in bump and run coverage, and Matt Castle continues to find his range on passes down the field. There just have not been those explosive plays in the passing game, and there's another punt.
Jones who tried to pin Washington back inside the 15. Fair caught by the rookie Crowder at the 13. I call them the greatest generation. They are the greatest Americans that we have. Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day at the World War II Memorial. So fortunate how these great men shaped the lives of so many. They remember those lost, not just from December 7, 1941, but the conflict that went on after that. And all those who have served in our hearts and our minds, and we are indebted to. Another day to remember and thank. Washington takes over, 4th drive of the night from their own 13, and it's a run by Alfred Morris. About 4 or 5 yards. Remember that rookie year when Alfred Morris was here, when Robert Griffin was running around? Morris was the beneficiary of that 1,600 yards, been to a couple of Pro Bowls. It's been diminishing numbers, John, the last couple of years, and now Morris sharing the duty with Matt Jones.
Still a good back. He protects the ball. He's not known as a receiver, but with all the issues they've had at tight end and on this offensive line, it's taken a toll on Morris and his production.
Third back Chris Thompson has come in for the 2nd and 7. Cousins complete to Jordan Reed, a couple shy of the first down. J.J. Wilcox, Rolando McClain with the hit there. And let's think to our conversation with Sean Lee last night, John, the linebacker for Dallas. He said what Washington does when it's going well is stay ahead of the sticks, third and manageable. True of so many defenses, but really important for Cousins in this team.
No doubt, and Sean Lee is going to call the signals. He'll change defenses when Cousins changes plays. Sean Lee is a smart football player, and he's going to counter everything Cousins does.
It's 3rd and 2. Cousins gets rid of it quick, and the first down picked up for the first time tonight for Washington. Chris Thompson Takes it out of bounds right around the 28-yard line.
Matchup you're going to see a lot of is Greg Hardy against Trent Williams. We covered Williams in the pregame. I think he's as good as there is at left tackle, and in one-on-one protection, he shuts down Hardy. And that was a first down, Mike. Did you like that?
That's two I've seen so far tonight here. Getting a little bit of a groove going. Washington limited with tight ends, as John mentioned, so they've got 7 offensive linemen in the game. Trying to block for Morris here. He'll take it across the 30-yard line. And a minimal gain.
When you put these tackles out there as tight ends, that's great. But you also tell the defense we're probably not throwing it. And when you look at Compton coming off the field 68 and Secchi 79, the Redskins have some terrible tendencies because they're so depleted at tight end. And let's see if Jay Gruden, offensive coordinator Sean McVay, have a pass or two, and those two monsters come back in the game as tight end.
From the 31, Lee comes, has 5 rushers. Cousins just a half step away from the crossing Jordan Reed.
Both quarterbacks are off a little bit early. A shallow cross from left to right goes Jordan Reed against Wilcox. Jordan Reed does most of his damage after the catch, and you want to put that ball a foot in front of his numbers so he can do what he does best. Cousins knows he missed that one.
Go with the rookie. Jones is the back for 3rd and 7. More pressure again for the Cowboys. It's Lee who breaks free and sacks Cousins inside the 20. Back at the 18. Second sack of the season for Sean.
Excuse me, Mike. 2 linebackers in the A gap, and you're going to see Sean Lee on a simple straight ahead blitz, and rookie running back Matt Jones not quite sure who to block. There's confusion, and Dallas is taking it to the Redskin front.
Heavy rush on Way. Gets it away. It's a good kick too. 50 on the nose. Lucky Whitehead with a return 10 yards. Just past the 40-yard line. Jerron Johnson there on the tack. Good linebacker. So good to see him healthy and playing well. Sean Lee, the sack for Dallas. Well, there's Des Bryant. It's contract to start the year. It's a foot injury. It's even an ankle injury when he went up and made the great play for the touchdown, one of the 2 he has this year against Philadelphia. Des hasn't been right, but Jason Witten told us, John, he looked good in practice, and he's one of those guys who needs that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday before game day.
All the great receivers I've been around are great practice players. And Bryant, when I saw him in training camp, the greatest compliment I could give him is he is a great practice player. That's where he gets his confidence and his swag. They say he got it back this week. Let's see it.
First down. Confusion and trouble as Robert Turbin was the back. Turbin was signed 3 weeks ago. Matt Castle was traded here earlier on. So there's a miscommunication there. Understandable as these guys are in the process of learning this offense still.
Well, it's just a bad exchange. The ball slipped right out of Matt Castle's hands. Had nothing to do with Turbin. So far, Castle has been high with his throws, and he's had a hard time handing the ball off. And Jason Garrett and Jay Gruden are having a hard time finding any offense.
One of the Washington penetrating linemen might have hit Castle's elbow, too, on the way there. It made the exchange more difficult. 2nd and 20. It is a screen set up for Turbin. Breaks out of a tackle, but loses 3 on the play. Deshaun Goldson makes the tackle.
This Deshaun Goldson has become the leader of the Washington Redskins. He came in here out of Tampa Bay. He's going to read this screen like a book. And he bolts out of his free safety position and makes a beautiful play before right guard Zach Martin can get there. Golston has done it on the field and off the field for the Redskins. And on 3rd down and long, let's see what Matt Castle has next.
Twisting 4-man rush. Pass underneath. Turbin brings it in. Had a long way to go. He's shy of the first down. Will Compton makes the tackle and Dallas will go 3 and out.
In a game of field position, and look who's back there to return this punt for Washington.
Here's Deshaun Jackson. Remember, Jackson went back once for a punt last week. Of course, Jackson had some heroics in Philadelphia, has 4 career punt returns for touchdown. As he's introduced here, the fans cheer. Chris Jones' kick is away. Deshaun signals for and makes a fair catch at the 20-yard line. 37 yards on that kick. John Jackson limited to 12 catches as well. Hamstring injury has bothered him. It's a guy who has that big play capability, but we just have not seen him have that speed, and without that, you don't see him much on the field.
Well, it's hard. He was hurt in training camp. He missed the whole training camp, got hurt in the first game, missed 6 games. Now he's back, and he's a hard guy to feature because you don't get him on the practice field enough to time out some of these deep passes. But Jay Gruden in the last 2 weeks has found Jackson deep down the field twice. They need to find a big play somewhere, and Deshaun Jackson has been the only guy to give it to him in the last couple weeks.
Final seconds here of the quarter. Alfred Morris is the back. He'll run up the middle for about 3 yards, and that will put an end to the first quarter. Each team had 1 first down. Neither team has scored. After 1 on Monday Night Football. Garrett at all these timeouts talking to the officials. Let's go to Lisa Salters, who's on the Dallas sideline. Lisa, there's an issue with the communication from the press box.
Yeah, Mike, well, you reported earlier that the tablets weren't working on the Dallas sidelines, but nothing is working over here. You know that teams can either use the tablets or the old-fashioned way where they print out the looks on paper, put them in the binders. Well, the printer system isn't working either, so the binders are sitting over here ready for some looks to get in there. But the printer's not working. Nothing's working here on the Dallas sidelines. Players have nothing to look at, Mike.
All right, Lisa, good stuff. Matt Jones with the run there for a few yards. So just to let you know what's happening on the Washington side, because Dallas doesn't have that advantage. Washington can't use theirs either. So they've been told, it's kind of like talking to your kids, put your tablets away, put your electronics away. They can't use theirs either. And, John, that's a significant impact, especially when teams are blitzing and bringing pressures at the start of this game.
Yes, it is, and it's not the first time it's happened. They still can talk to their coaches upstairs, and they'll have to draw it up on the board the old-fashioned way.
It's 3rd and 5. Matt Jones is the back. Cousins' throw is complete, and Garcon hangs on at the 49-yard line as Byron Jones trying to pull that away along with Carr. Flag down, I believe, in the secondary. Got to spot it where it is here.
Rolling on the field is a catch. Personal foul, grabbing the face mask, number 31, defense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Did a nice job trying to get away from this bump and run man-to-man coverage. They create a little bit of a stack release to back these corners off, and Garcon comes from outside in and runs a beautiful route, well thrown by Cousins. And you see the face mask by Jones. First down, Washington.
So Washington picks up about 37 yards combined. Jones running to the right inside the 35 to the 33. 4-yard first down pickup for the rookie.
Rod Marinelli, defensive coordinator, continues to bring Barry Church on blitzes. You're going to see him come off the left side. Fortunately for Washington, they're running away from the blitz. I've seen more blitzes from the Cowboys tonight than I've seen in the last few weeks combined. They know they've got to make something happen with their defense to get this offense awakened.
Second and 6 at the 34. On the boot, Cousins flagged down. He throws complete to Jamison Crowder, the rookie receiver out of Duke. First down for the moment. Well, let's see what the flag's for.
Personal foul, illegal crackback block, number 14, offense. 15-yard penalty, still second down.
Ryan Grant, a call you don't hear very often, on a bootleg. Left side of your frame. That's not a penalty, and that's too much officiating, Mike.
Try to clean up those blocks to protect players who can't see guys coming low from the opposite side, but you saw where he was relative to the defensive lineman, Randy Gregory. I agree with you on that. It backs Washington up 10, second and 22. Jones out of the backfield. In the open field, brought down by Barry Church. Now Jones taken in the 3rd round of the draft out of Florida. John, here's a player who does give Washington a little bit more in terms of a receiver out of the backfield to complement his running skills.
No question, he has really helped the Redskins in that role. The one thing he needs to do a better job of is take care of the ball. He's lost 4 fumbles. That leads the NFL.
Third and 17. Incomplete, intended for Reed. Dallas disguising its coverages until that last second. Reed well covered, and the Redskins will punt it again.
Big penalty on Grant. And Way will try to send the Cowboys pinned deep in their territory. Here's Cole Beasley.
5 possessions, 5 punts for Washington. Beasley did an effective job of screening Grant, who was trying to get there and down the ball before it crossed the goal line. Touchback. Cole knows what he did. Dallas ball at the 20. ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by Chili's. Now for a limited time, unlimited enchiladas. Chili's, fresh is now. CDW, people who get it. Gillette, 25 million guys have switched to the Gillette Flex Ball. Will you? And Toyota, let's go places. Triplets, Aikman, Smith, Irvin, huge part of this rivalry. So too over the years. Tony Romo for the Dallas Cowboys has been the quarterback that Jerry Jones has sent out there in this most famous of NFL rivalries over the years, but Romo back on the sideline after re-injuring that clavicle on Thanksgiving against the Panthers. A flag to start this drive for movement.
False start.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 82, offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Talked to Tony for a bit as the Cowboys arrived at the hotel last night. It's been tough on him, especially tough after Thanksgiving. Not just the physical pain, but also the emotional disappointment of trying to get back, John, hoping he could lead the Cowboys on a run here.
And they have not put him on IR yet. They still have hope of getting in the tournament and having Tony Romo be their quarterback.
1st and 15. Castle to McFadden out of the backfield. Gain of 6, Trent Murphy out of Stanford. Second year, second-round pick with the tackle. And when Tony Romo has played, there's been a lot of success since he took over 10 years ago as the Cowboys starting quarterback. But without him, the lights haven't been very bright. Johnson and Kitna, McGee and Orton, Wheaton, now Castle, just 6 wins out of those 22 missed starts and 0 of the last 9. Have to go back to 2010 to find the last time the Cowboys won a game Romo didn't start. 2nd and 9. Casso is brought down. Good coverage allows Murphy to get there for the sack.
Well, Jason Hatcher, the ex-Dallas Cowboy, with a power rush. You're going to see it on the left side of your screen. Hatcher, number 97, pushes the pocket. Rookie Lael Collins. Castle has no vision down the field. It's 3rd down and 11.
Nothing from Witten yet tonight. Castle, Witten, first down at the 30-yard line. Career catch, 9.99. Let's see the mark. Forward progress going to give Jason the first down for Dallas.
When you play that zone coverage and your pass rush doesn't get there, it makes it awful easy for Jason Witten to turn, catch a football, and fight for the necessary inches. And who does it better than Jason Witten? I'm sorry,
that hit hurt him, John. He walked right to the sideline, took off his helmet, and he's sitting on the Dallas bench. See the way D'Angelo Hall came down and knocked Witten. Gavin Escobar, the tight end now. McFadden to the right. Yet another flag is down. It's McFadden. That's a gain if it stands, but it doesn't look like it's going to.
There are multiple fouls by the defense. Number 92 of the defense lined up in the neutral zone. That penalty is declined. Number 99 lined up in the neutral zone. That penalty is accepted. 5 yards, still first down.
First and 5. Here comes Witten, who rarely comes off the field, back out there. Here's the hit he took.
D'Angelo Hall came in with a shoulder shot, looked like to the rib area. Good to see Witten back on the field.
Guy's got 999 catches. He's also played 99% of the snaps this year, the most among any of the skill players in the league. So rare to see Witten offer a snap, but he's back out there, knocking on the door of the milestone. The flag made it first and 5. McFadden right, gonna lose 2. Lisa Salters.
Yeah, Mike, you saw it. Jason Witten came right off the field, headed to the bench, took off his helmet, but he did not let any of the training staff look at him. He was very animated, was telling the guys that he's okay. He's like, look, we got to go win this game. He got right back in there.
You'd see him stretching. He's certainly not comfortable yet after that hit he took from Hall. He's going to come off the field here for this second down and 6. Castle throws. It is caught by Witten. Not only a first down, but it is 1,000th reception of his brilliant NFL career.
And he's caught 275 of those passes, Mike. 12 players have done it, just a second tight end. What an accomplishment, what a player. Excellence that he has achieved for a long time.
A lot on routes very similar to that. First one came from Quincy Carter. 10 quarterbacks have thrown the ball to Jason Witten. And he joins Larry Fitzgerald in the 1,000 club. Both doing it this week. Of a 41. First down, Castle taking the shot downfield towards Williams, who comes back to catch it on the safety. Goldson, Terrence Williams with the biggest play of the night for the Cowboys.
You get Matt Castle a couple completions to his tight end, you get some confidence. You're going to see Des Bryant hook, and Williams is going to swing right down the far sidelines. Terrence Williams beating the underneath coverage to Sean Goldson for a huge play. And those are the plays that have avoided the Cowboys. They were so electrifying last year, making those explosive plays down the field. That's a big one to ignite Dallas.
Officially 38 yards on the catch. McFadden finds an opening on the right. Spins out of a tackle. It's a gain of about 7. By Sean Jarrett made the tackle. Remember, we were talking to Jason Garrett about McFadden. Felix Jones was with McFadden back at Arkansas. We know Jerry Jones loved for the Hogs. He played his college football there, and they ran that wild hog offense with those running backs and always loved McFadden, but he went way too high in the draft. 4th when Oakland took him in 2008. Too high for Dallas to take him. They had Felix. Now they have Darren. Still finding a way to try to fill the absence of DeMarco Murray, who's in Philly. Castle is pressured off the edge and just gets rid of it. Unblocked was Preston Smith. And Castle was in full escape mode.
I give McFadden a lot of credit. He's had a lot of injuries, but over the last 6 games, McFadden has averaged 22 carries a game. No, he hasn't had the DeMarco Murray stats, but he hasn't had a healthy Des Bryant. He hasn't had Tony Romo, but he's caught 31 passes. He's run the ball hard between the tackles, and he's proven he can handle the workload. Cole Beasley, a wide receiver, in at running back. Keep an eye on Beasley in these third meetings.
He's out the backfield, 5 receivers. Washington brings pressure. Castle's pass is incomplete. Intended for Beasley. Ryan Kerrigan came off the edge and obscured the view. Rushed to throw, and Dallas will try a field goal.
Well, they motioned to an empty backfield set. Dallas was 1 short in pass protection, and here's Bailey. We've seen some good kickers this year, but Bailey might just be the best. He's almost automatic.
See the percentage career. He's kicked 149 times, made 135. From 33 for the game's first point. Penalty flag down.
Well, start, number 78, offense. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Back up lineman Charles Brown. You saw Des Bryant unhappy on that 3rd down that he hasn't seen a look yet. And Jason Garrett's seen that before. Des wanting to see the ball downfield there, try to get a first down or a touchdown. From 38 now, Bailey. And we have the game's first point, 6:30 remaining in the second. Why Des Bryant so upset? He felt as though he had a step on Breland was going to get open. He let everybody know about it. The story from earlier, they don't have Polaroids anymore that they send down. Everybody watches the plays on a Surface tablet. Those aren't working. They try and get the printers working to get the old school prints out. From what we're told, a power issue is contributing to this. In any case, league officials and representatives over there. So instead of Scott Linehan looking at the pictures with Matt Castle and Des Bryant to tell him that there was a blitz on, there was no chance of Castle getting him the ball in that last situation. They're just sitting there and talking about it. This is a Rashad Ross kick return to the 15 and no more. Ross was met right about there. See if the Washington offense can get in gear when we come back. After winning the division last year, not the story Dallas thought they'd have. The good start, but then the injuries to the big guys. Greg Hardy comes in, and that story continues to swirl. Whedon was replacing Romo, then it was Whedon out, Castle in. Romo gets re-injured as he comes back after getting the victory in Miami, where there was some hope. And the Dallas season is sitting at 3-8. Yet Jason Garrett says and it was very positive with his team this week, and got even more so after they saw the Giants lose to the Jets yesterday, and know that if they win tonight, they're within a game of first. Just a yard gain there on Matt Jones. Their defense is playing to that level so far here tonight.
Well, Washington continues to try to run the football, and they've had no success. You see the 2 tackles taking off in Secchi and Compton. And now they open a formation with Garcon and Crowder at the top of the screen, Deshaun Jackson at the bottom.
180!
Second down and a toss with Jones to the left, trying to get to the edge, and he does it. Strung out by Lee and Church, making the Dallas tackle. And it'll be 3rd and long.
Well, they pull the left tackle, Trent Williams, and you can see his athleticism, but Church and Sean Lee get to the football as well as any safety linebacker combination in this league. That's impressive.
Sean Lee looks good at that weak linebacker spot.
He does. He moved over to accommodate McClain. McClain is the middle linebacker, and Sean Lee healthy, happy, and loving this defense.
No run game for Washington thus far. 3rd and 11. Dallas brings 4, and Cousins throws complete The tight end Reed able to get there. Jordan Reed with a first down at the 27-yard line. And John, that's what you say. There's so much good work after the catch.
Very important, and Hardy was beating down on Cousins. Kirk did a nice job getting the ball off just in time. Spencer Long, first-year player at left guard, struggling. Shallow cross. If it's zone coverage, you sit down and split people after the catch. Textbook work by Jordan Reed.
It's the second time in the last 21 tries Washington has converted 3rd and 10 or more. Jones left, cross to 30. He'll get another first down. And Washington, which had run for just 19 yards on 11 carries, gets 10 on that tote.
Well, they put that big Tom Compton in there on the left side. Here's Trent Williams and Compton, and they storm it off the left side, and Jones gets another first down for the Redskins. I'm waiting for Jay Gruden to take a shot with Deshaun Jackson. Claiborne back in action at right corner. That's the man I think they're targeting.
Going to get a measurement here. John, we came out of break and showed all the headlines around Dallas this year. You saw the pressure that Hardy brought before the last first down. Now Washington has another one. I think everybody knows the story, all the major controversy, the conversation around Hardy. Spent all but one game last year on the commissioner's exempt list, that 10-game suspension that the arbitrator took down to 4 this year. Back in the news last month when the photos surfaced of his ex-girlfriend, Nicole Holder, that were taken shortly after she was the victim of the domestic violence incident. It really is something Dallas knew. They made the decision they were going to bring him in. The question was, what kind of scrutiny would they be under as the year went on? That pass for Jones is incomplete, as Cousins could not hit his running back out of the backfield. We have another flag down.
It's like an eligible man downfield against Washington.
If accepted, it'll be the 10th accepted flag here of this first half.
An eligible player, number 67 of the offense, was downfield prior to the pass. It's a 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Just to finish the thought on Hardy, Jason Garrett telling us last night, we knew we made this decision internally, and people may disagree with it outside, and many people disagree with it outside of the organization. His job, their responsibility is to support him best as they can, and whether it was comments on Twitter, changing his bio on Twitter, Garrett's trying to deal with that, and internally the players have said thus far the relationship with Hardy and how he's worked to be one of the teammates has been something that's been satisfactory to them. He brought the pressure in the middle there, but the pass to Reed was incomplete, with Sean Lee driving back on coverage of the tight end.
And Greg Hardy on the field is making his presence felt. They continue to use these line stunts, and Washington really struggling on the right side. It's a seam route to Jordan Reed. Good help from Claiborne at right corner. Second and long.
Mentioned the right side. Morgan Moses, the tackles in his second year. Brandon Sheriff, the 5th overall pick, a rookie. Draw with Jones. Good job to find the opening and get it to the 41-yard line. He'll set up 3rd and 5 for Washington here with 3:40 left in this first half.
You got a left tackle, you use his athleticism. Even on draw plays, you lure the offensive tackle up, lure the end up the field, and then you go become the lead blocker. Trent Williams swatted Gregory, the rookie, and sets up 3rd down and 6.
Cousins scanning. Deshaun Jackson, first down, 42-yard line. Jackson was lined up with Morris Claiborne initially at the line of scrimmage. The quick move inside moves the chain.
It's impressive by Cousins. He's been hit a lot. The crossing route. Deshaun Jackson beating Claiborne from right to left. I like a quarterback that's been hit early in the game that hangs in there. on a critical third down. Nice work by Cousins.
17 on the game. First down. Nowhere to go as Hardy was untouched coming in and gets Jones for a loss as we approach the 2-minute warning.
Well, they better get those tablets working on the sidelines because that's about the 8th time I've seen this blitz come off the strong side, and it's a stunt inside, and no one's seen Greg Hardy tonight. So hopefully they get those tablets working on the sideline and they can draw that up. I'm sure they will at halftime, Mike.
The tablets are starting to work now. Both
about time.
teams. Go to your tablets, pick up your electronics. At the 2-minute warning, it is Dallas 3-0. Toyota halftime is coming up with Chris Berman. We'll have Boomer's final drive, looking back at the Patriots, who now lost back-to-back games, and the Panthers, who remain perfect, and the insider update from Adam Schefter and Chris Mortensen. It's all coming up on the Toyota halftime. Neither team with 100 yards yet. Dallas 3, Washington nothing as we hit the 2-minute warning. Any replay reviews will be initiated from the booth upstairs. Washington's best drive of the night going 2nd and 14. The blitz is picked up. Cousins flings it incomplete as the coverage downfield was good as well.
That's a zone blitz. Rod Marinelli, defensive coordinator, I'll say it again, is coming from everywhere. That time he brings 4 to his side. You're going to see a safety Church, a linebacker McLean, 2 defensive linemen. They overload the strong side of the field. They drop a defensive end. They're giving Kirk Cousins the kitchen sink. Blitzes, man coverage, then another blitz, and here's a maximum 3-man rush zone.
3rd and 14. Cousins with time, tight spot, caught by Garcon for the first down at the 31-yard line.
Garcon is tough. You have to have confidence in somebody going over the middle of the field against all these Cowboys, going up with no fear and catching the ball in a crowd. Just a deep square in by Garcon. Nice job securing the ball in a crowd.
Tight window throw. Cowboy fans have to be frustrated seeing the pressure that they're getting on Cousins, and they sit back with 8 in coverage. And it's time for Kirk Cousins to find Garcon on coverage. To the 32, pop right, throw back left. Deshaun Jackson, gain of 7. Minute 7, Washington all 3 timeouts.
More pressure from Dallas. And at a clock stoppage, I'm sure Jay Gruden is going to make Kirk Cousins well aware of it.
Timeout, Washington. 2 of the highest profile, most influential owners in the NFL. Their team's also valued right up there with New England in the top 3 franchises. Daniel Snyder, Washington on the left. Jerry Jones, owner, president, general manager of the Cowboys on the right. 2nd and 3. Washington still 2 timeouts left. Chris Thompson's the back. Cousins throws off the hands of the rookie Crowder and incomplete.
Got to make these plays. It's a zone coverage. Crowder, the rookie, is going to run right to left and just sit down against the zone. They have to make these types of plays on early downs. Once again, Lawrence applies the pressure.
Just update you on Lawrence. We said earlier they credited him with a sack and a half. They've given him the full sack, so he had 2 sacks on that opening drive. Been a factor throughout. Play 13 of a drive that started back at Washington 16. Cousins, Jackson, Deshaun first down and out of bounds. And the penalty flag down in the secondary as well.
See Greg Hardy limping off. No idea what this penalty is.
Jay says it's not offensive pass interference.
Pass interference, number 88, offense, blocking downfield. 10-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Well, these penalties are killing Washington, and They get Garcon on offensive pass interference.
The explanation was that he was blocking downfield.
Oh. See what happened to Hardy on an inside move.
Lisa Salters tells us from the sideline they're looking at his left ankle. Very tough call there on Garcon. Wasn't engaged in blocking. He was trying to get off of the jam there with his head down. 3rd and 13 from the 35-yard line. Cousins throws it left. He'll stay in field goal range. At the 26-yard line, Chris Thompson is pulled down. See if Dallas will let this clock run down. This 4th down field goal attempt is coming. The Cowboys get the ball first to start the second half. It looks like Washington will leave it to Dustin Hopkins to tie the game before halftime.
Well, there's a penalty earlier on Crowder for a crackback block. I didn't think he even made contact, but that nullified a great opportunity for Washington. That offensive pass interference on Garcon. A lot of penalties in this first half.
Jay Gruden's going to run the clock all the way down here and then take a timeout. Make this the final play of the half. Back for the field goal attempt to try to tie the game in a moment. The half here, field goal attempt coming. Lisa tells us from the sideline that Greg Hardy was putting weight back on that ankle. He would have been able to go back in the game. Cleared by the athletic training staff to do that, but we're at 4th down here. So it's the field goal attempt for Hopkins from 45 yards. And it's 3-3 after 2. Just 11 first downs for the teams. Dallas gets the ball to start the second half. Field goal apiece as we send it to Chris in the Toyota house. On this December 7th, 2015, World War II Memorial. We remember December 7, 1941. And the Redskins have done a great job, as they always do, honoring the military, especially World War II veterans on this night here just outside of D.C., Landover, Maryland. All even at 3. Third quarter is set to begin. Mike Tirico, John Gruden. Lisa Salters updates us on the tablets and what's going on down on the field here momentarily. Not a lot of offense, John. 3 sacks. Dallas getting the pressure. The yardage is 205. Would you like to know what that means? The last time we had that few yards in the first half of a Redskins-Cowboys game goes back to 05. That was the game that Washington won with Santana Moss catching the 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Maybe we'll get an offensive burst coming up here in a little bit, John, but as we go to tonight's Zales Extraordinary Moments, let's talk about the pressure that's come from the Dallas side.
Well, a lot of pressure with blitzes and stunts, and it's caused some problems, just like those tablets have, Mike. It's an all-out blitz, and Dallas is not known for blitzing. They came into this game not blitzing much at all, and Wilcox causes an incomplete pass. Then it's 2 linebackers in the A-gap. I call it double A's, and it's a stunt. You see number 50 Lee, 76 Hardy. They pick the guard, and there's Sean Lee for the easy sack. A lot of safety blitzes. You'll see Barry Church on the right side of the screen, applying pressure, different kinds of coverages. Credit defensive coordinator Rod Marinelli for coming in here with an aggressive game plan. We're in a 3-3 football game between 2 teams that know each other. There's a lot on the line. And it's going to be a defensive struggle, Mike. These are 2 very good defensive teams, and both coordinators know each other quite well.
Yeah, very well. Rod Marinelli and Joe Barry, one of the many storylines in this game tonight. There is Rod, his daughter Chris, married to Joe Barry. When Rod was the head coach in Detroit, Joe was the defensive coordinator. So it's going up against your father-in-law tonight. All right, Lisa Salters with the update from the sideline. Lisa.
Yeah, Michael, as you know, for most of the first half, the equipment, the technology on the Dallas sideline wasn't working. Jason Garrett told me it was certainly challenging when you can't look at the pictures and you don't have the tablets. He said what really bothered him, though, was the imbalance. He said for a while there, they were able to use theirs, and we were not able to use ours, but we got that rectified. Jay Gruden told me, yeah, it affected his team a little bit, he said, but certainly no excuse for our ineptness on offense. He said we just had no rhythm, no tempo. And, Mike, guess what? The equipment's all down again to start the second half.
All right, not working again, so the power issue continues. Dallas starts from the 20, and Darren McFadden climbing through the hole there. It's a gain of 7 yards. You hit it earlier, but for the folks who were not with us before, not having those pictures, whether they were printed out or the tablets, how much does that set you back when you're trying to make in-game adjustments?
You know, you can say it sets you back a little, but some of these coaching staffs have 30 members. They've got plenty of people in the box communicating on the sideline. I don't think it's that big a deal personally.
1 of 7 for McFadden. He only has 7 carries and 20 yards so far. Dallas trying to establish him here. That's a nice run of 8. The first down, Darren McFadden in Dallas.
And Jason Garrett went to McFadden's locker and he said, let's rev it up. This is an outside zone right off the left side, but watch McFadden put that left foot in the ground and cut this thing back. That's a decisive north-south run. I like the way McFadden finishes. He gets his pads north and south. He doesn't lose yardage. That's impressive.
Well, John, they've got the offensive line talent to line up and run the ball to try to establish stuff. Seeing into those first 2 carries for 14. Now McFadden tries the right, and he gains 7 yards to the 41-yard line. And battling for the ball there. Ball came out. Let's see what the call's going to be as we look at the first rounders for Dallas. Tyron Smith and Travis Frederick and Zach Martin. These 3 players taken in the first round have helped fortify the Dallas offensive line. They're unscrambling, and they say Washington has recovered
on
the turnover.
Is a fumble recovered by the defense. First down.
Mason Foster comes up with it. See that knee come down in the pile, and you can't see from there where it was out. No whistle blew. Ball starting to come out as that first knee hits the ground.
Very close.
And a lot of legs in the pile there. You couldn't see the ball come free.
The ruling on the field of a fumble is under further review.
As all turnovers are automatically reviewed, athletic training staff looks at McFadden. We'll check if it was a fumble or not. Darren McFadden for any potential concussion. They're looking and talking to him on the right. Jason Garrett waiting for the ruling as Walt Anderson looks in conjunction with New York. And I have Jerry Austin, 2-time Super Bowl ref, in the booth here. Jerry, what do you think as you watch this?
You see the ball starting to turn just as about 2 inches before the knee touches the ground. I think they're going to stand with this call.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field of a fumble stands as called. First down.
As you said, Jerry, stands as called. And it is a turnover and gives the ball to Washington at the 41-yard line.
Washington's sudden change offense did not capitalize on McFadden's fumble in the first half. Important they do here.
McFadden, who, as we had said, had not fumbled for the entire season going back to the middle of last year, has now fumbled twice in the game here tonight. Kirk Cousins up top. Garcon the catch. Pierre Garcon running with some anger, with a gain of about 8 yards there. When you talk about the takeaways and maximizing those opportunities, only San Francisco has done it poorer than Washington. That sudden change offense has not been there so far.
And it's important when you get a gift like that, you must capitalize, especially in games like this. Second down is short. Expect to see Jones right behind the double team.
180! What's up?
32, here he goes up the middle, first down. Good call, coach, 25-yard line.
I know the coach down there, but when you get a guy like Matt Jones, a 230-pound back, run right behind the double team, and Brandon Sheriff at right guard. Top 5 pick. Making the transition from left tackle to right guard. Slowly but surely coming to life. First down, Washington.
Trent Williams over there on the left at the tackle spot. Sheriff at that right guard. 2 high picks protecting the offense. Another run. Jones keeps going. Best run of the night there to the 15-yard line. And a gain of 10.
One of the things I like about this Redskin offense, there's a rookie tailback. There's a rookie right guard. And Morgan Moses at right tackles in his first year playing. And it's just good blocking off tackle, and Matt Jones saw the cut well, and it's a good finish.
Say Moses in his first year playing. He only started 1 game last year at Liz Frank surgery with the foot injury. That's a 3rd-round pick out of Virginia. Bring the extra offensive lineman in.
180. What's up?
On second and short. Back to Jones. That time Sean Lee, along with Rolando McClain, get to the other side of the line.
Let's hope Sean Lee is okay.
Yeah, Lee is dazed.
Going to be a big collision in the hole. And Lee, who has finally been healthy this year, let's hope this is nothing serious.
Returned from the ACL injury. He had missed 31 games the prior 3 seasons.
It's going to come right at you. It's like his midsection. Perhaps the wind knocked out of him. Let's hope that's all it is.
Concussion earlier this season, but not being assessed for that at this point. As you can see, the head was not involved in the hit. Meantime, Darren McFadden is leaving. The evaluation for head injury with Darren McFadden. So this Dallas team that has cycled through multiple running backs this year, trying to ride McFadden, but now he will be out for a while. The stop by Lee makes it 3rd and 1. And again, Dallas on the other side of the line with DeMarcus Lawrence. And they stop Washington twice on 3rd and 1.
Very disappointing. Right off the right side, Lawrence, penetration. Somebody blew an assignment. Nobody touched him. 2nd and 1 in that field position, and back-to-back rejections by this Cowboy defense.
Outstanding game it has been for Lawrence. That time unblocked, but makes the big play. And now Dustin Hopkins, field goal on the last drive. This field goal, 36 to take the lead. And he knocks it through. So the turnover turns into 3, and Washington leads for the first time tonight. One of the most prestigious awards in the NFL, Walter Payton Man of the Year. Each of the 32 teams with a nominee. Ryan Kerrigan doing great work with children battling serious illness and their families here in D.C. and in Texas. And then back at his home in Flint, Michigan, Brandon Carr, the corner for the Cowboys, who also is a Play 60 Challenge ambassador. He's got the Brandon Carr Elite Football and Cheerleading Camp. 300 student athletes helped out in both Texas and Michigan. And Ryan Kerrigan doing a great job. Blitz for the Better is one of the charities that has inspired his work. The Walter Payton Man of the Year presented by Nationwide. Each team with a nomination. 3 finalists announced next month. NFL honors on Super Bowl weekend out in the Bay Area. We'll find out who the NFL Man of the Year is. So we salute all 32. Good to see the attention going to the people involved and nominated for their teams. No return on the Hopkins kickoff. Here's Lisa on the sideline with an update.
Yeah, Mike, it initially looked like Darren McFadden was being taken back to the locker room for more evaluation, but we've since been told that he has been cleared, helmet's back on, he is going back onto the field. When I said it looked like he was going to the locker room, he was actually just going over to the stationary bike to stay warm.
Okay, well, there's the update on that. Robert Turbin is the running back in for the moment for McFadden.
Got to get Des Bryant involved in this football game. That's Will Blackman, a midseason acquisition, covering him.
Matt Castle, 6 of 12 throwing tonight. There he throws sideline, caught by Terrence Williams. Olsen wanted the push-off call. Instead, it's a gain to the 45, a 25-yard pickup.
That's a beautiful back shoulder throw by Matt Castle. 2nd time. Terrence Williams has made a big play for this Cowboy offense. Going to have to throw the football on these early downs. Inexperienced Washington secondary. Dunbar, a former wide receiver, is playing corner.
Quentin Dunbar, who had the interception last week of Eli Manning, almost gets to Castle before the handoff, and it's a gain of 2 yards for Turbin. Ricky Jean-Francois nearly got there. John, you're talking about Des Bryant. We saw him frustrated earlier when the blitz was coming. Castle couldn't get it across the field to him. 2 targets, nothing to show for Des.
Had a contract holdout earlier in the season, injured. in training camp, broke a foot, missed 5 games, has had ankle and knee problems, just now returning to form. No time better than to dial Dez Bryant.
Ohio State rookie Rod Smith is in the game for Dallas. He came down to the bottom of the screen. 2nd and 8 for Castle. They spread him out, throw it to Witten. The flag is down as that ball is on the Washington side of the 49. And the Redskins DBs were trying to indicate it should be offensive pass interference. That's the preliminary call.
Pass interference, number 82, offense. 10-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
And now Jason Witten has a conversation with the official.
Take a look at it. Watch the feet of the defender. Seeing a lot of offensive pass interference.
And the standard for that is changing significantly. If you're a Washington fan, you say that's not offensive pass interference. The hands extended and the player, as you talk about his feet moving, is that cylinder, almost like a charge block call in basketball. Is he being moved out of that? Something the officials are looking for there. Flag makes it 2nd and 18. Castle. Rusher is Witten, trying to get away from that college wide receiver Quentin Dunbar. And he gets it out of bounds at the 46-yard line, 9 shy of the 1st down.
This is amazing to me, Quentin Dunbar playing corner. It's a shallow cross. Dunbar is going to show up on the left side of your screen and carry Witten out of bounds, but there's not a lot of experience that this young man is drawing from. You're not just covering a guy every play. Sometimes you're playing zone. Sometimes you got to cover a guy in motion. Sometimes you got to tackle. He has no experience doing any of it. And he's doing it on Monday Night Football against the Dallas Cowboys. I love it.
3rd and 9. Castle will take timeout. Back for the 3rd down in a minute. Washington leading this division by a half game. Chance to have a full game lead in their first of 2 meetings with the Cowboys. They go to Jerry World in Arlington on the final Sunday of the season. 3rd and 9. Flag down, Castle slant, broken up by Bashaud Breeland. Flag comes in as he was defending Dez Bryant.
Flags everywhere. Going to be multiple fouls here.
Breeland in his 2nd year out of Clemson. In conversation with Dez. Breeland's had a step-up season.
There are 2 fouls, both by the defense. Offside, number 97 defense was lined up in the neutral zone. That penalty is declined. Pass interference, number 26 defense. That penalty is accepted. 1st down at the spot of the foul.
And that'll be the Washington 48-yard line.
Well, it's a sharp slant route by Dez Bryant against 26 Breeland.
The arm hooked around the waist with the official on that Cowboys sideline called, and then Bryant and Breeland continued the dialogue post-play and line up again, top of your screen. Lucky Whitehead, they don't hand to him this time. Castle firing towards Witten. Incomplete.
Mason Foster does an excellent job covering Jason Witten. Foster, another replacement player for these Redskins. Jason Witten on a flatten up and with no help until late. Foster does a nice job. And Jason Hatcher, the ex-Dallas Cowboy, is down for the Redskins.
Athletic training staff out to look at Hatcher, gesturing towards his right leg. You mentioned ex-Cowboy, 06 to 13. 8 years with Dallas, his 2nd here with Washington, shaken up. ESPN's Monday Night Football brought to you by Verizon. Better matters. By Nissan. Innovation that excites. Burger King, now get 10 chicken nuggets only at BK. And NFLShop.com, order your holiday gifts today and save up to 20% off. Some of the great Washington players over the years, part of this tremendous rivalry. And there's former Super Bowl MVP, reporter to remember forever, Doug Williams, among those in attendance tonight. Hatcher helped off by the athletic training staff. 2nd and 10, it's Robert Turbin, the former Seahawk, with the carry and a gain of a yard. Doug Williams, one of your favorite people, John.
Yes, he is, Mike. And yesterday was a big day for Doug. He was back in Tampa, Florida. He got inducted into the Ring of Honor with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Just a thrilling day for Doug. All of us back in Tampa. And Mike, not many guys are in 2 Ring of Honors like my man Doug Williams.
Great.
Super Bowl champion. And if you ever meet Doug Williams, I promise you, you'll like him.
One of the greats. Good people. That's Ron Smith flexing out. The running back gets wide. 3rd and 9. Washington brings pressure. Castle gets rid of it. Incomplete for Brown. Flagged out. They're going to get Quentin Dunbar involved. And that's 2 pass interference penalties on the men defending Dez to keep this drive alive.
Paul had no chance to be caught, but they're going to get Dunbar for pass interference. I didn't think that was catchable.
That's a good point there, John. Let's see if they call it defensive holding or pass interference. Because pass interference, the uncatchable, comes into play.
Pass interference, defense, number 30. Not playing the ball, 1st down.
47, but Dunbar against Bryant.
From that angle, that looks more catchable than I thought it was. Watching it live, I thought it was a little bit farther back, a little bit deeper.
See Perry Fuel, the secondary coach, done a phenomenal job with this young Quentin Dunbar. Got to keep your cool and get ready for the next opportunity. They're calling it tight.
Yep, Perry's been a defensive coordinator in this league. Here working with the DBs. 1st and 10. And it's Robert Turbin with a right hard hit as he was contacted initially by Hatcher, came back in the game, and now Hatcher's shaken up again. He was the one who took the worst of that hit as his safety man was coming in. And the athletic training staff right back out to look at Hatcher for the 2nd time in 4 plays. Tony Romo talking to Dez Bryant over there. Just targeting Dez has helped them keep this drive alive, even though they didn't complete the passes. 2 pass interference calls. Jason Hatcher got hit by his own teammate when trying to make that tackle. So this definitely different from the leg injury. Stayed down for a good part of that timeout. Did get up and walked off under his own power for the 2nd time in this drive. 2nd and 7 for Dallas, trailing by 3. In this 3rd quarter. Castle throws to Witten, complete. Jason Witten has a 1st down again, 24-yard line. This will be a pickup of 8.
So quick, in and out of his break. And Matt Castle puts the ball in perfect location, and Jason Witten on a quick stick out to the outside with a 1st down.
Here in this game tonight, deep in the 3rd quarter, Castle has 9 completions, 4 of them to Witten. James Hanna, extra tight end in the game to block for Turbin, comes to the left, he gains 2 yards. Angelo Hall flying back from that safety spot. Hey, back to Witten here for a second. 1,002 career receptions. Now 10th all time. He's moved past Hines Ward here tonight. He's moved past Larry Fitzgerald as well. Only the 2nd tight end to do it. Johnny said of all the milestones and all the marks, this is the one that means so much. He never thought he'd be among these players, the best players in terms of receptions in league history. Very humbled by reaching this milestone. Hatcher being walked back to the Washington locker room. 2nd and 8 for Matt Castle. Redskins bring an extra rusher. Castle in trouble. Gets away. Hit from behind, but gets a good gain out of it. Preston Smith able to track him down, but Castle a yard shy of the 1st down.
It's an impressive move in the pocket by Castle. Just watch him accept this shotgun snap. Pressure is going to be on, and Castle keeps his eyes downfield. Kerrigan, Paya, Compton. Can't get him until Preston Smith, the rookie out of Mississippi State, brings him down just short of the first down, 3rd and a long 1. And Robert Turbin, who would have thought Robert Turbin would be the feature back of the Dallas Cowboys with the season on the line?
3rd and 1. Turbin is stopped. Houston Bates comes in to make the play.
Same thing happened to the Redskins in the previous series. In a short yardage situation, penetration from the edge, unaccounted for. And Dallas's short yardage offense, not good. I think they're 7 out of 16 this year on 3rd down and 1, Mike. Unbelievable with this offensive line and that tight end you just talked about.
They are now, John, league low. Here is Bailey to tie the game. 34 yards. Six. Not pretty, but it's tight. Late 3rd here in Washington. All season long, put the Monday Night Lights on one of the top prep teams in the area, Briarwoods High School, right over by Redskin Park in Ashburn, Virginia. Their players were out there Saturday. Got a chance to see some of these kids. They said hello to the Washington Redskin players. Charlie Pierce's team won 3 consecutive state titles from 2010 to 2012. A little rebuilding season this year, but they got to meet Trent Williams, Kirk Cousins, and some of the kids from Briarwoods on hand tonight. Getting a chance to enjoy watching the pros play. Among the many here at FedEx Field, watching Redskins Cowboys 111th edition. 2 playoff games played between these teams. Of the conference championship games back in the day. 72 and 82. Here are those playoff meetings. After that 7-minute drive, it's Ross to bring it out for Washington. We'll get to 20 and not much more, as the special teams coverage led by Kyle Wilbur of the Cowboys. Jay Gruden and the Redskins trying to get to 500, trying to get to 6-6, have a 1-length lead heading to the final quarter of the season, with Philadelphia buoyed by that win over New England, and the Giants, who we'll see on Monday night in Miami at 5-7. And Jason Garrett's team all got a little boost. When we saw them at the hotel, it was after the Giants had lost to the Jets in overtime, and they all to a man knew the deal. This season, where they have been counted out a couple of times, they can find themselves a game back if they can get this one tonight. Cousins starts the drive on play action from the 22. Nothing there, so he'll take off and gain a half dozen.
Nice call on an early down, moving the pocket. I credit this young safety of the Dallas Cowboys, Byron Jones, number 31. He has recognized patterns all night. Here's a bootleg. They're looking for Deshaun Jackson. But Byron Jones, their 1st-round pick out of Connecticut, has played corner. He's played safety. He's improved as a tackler. And sometimes you see him deep, and sometimes you'll see him in coverage against Jordan Reed.
180! What's up?
2nd and 4. They give it to Matt Jones going left. And Matt Jones gets the first down. A couple of rookies named Jones playing well tonight.
Just watch him at real speed, Mike. He's going to carry this football straight ahead. And you got to gang tackle Matt Jones. Got to be careful with that football. Sometimes the more reckless he runs, the more careless he gets with the ball. And Dallas in dire need of a turnover. They just haven't been able to generate one all year.
180! What's up?
On 1st down from their own 36, Cousins firing it. Incomplete, flag comes in. Pass was intended for Jordan Reed. It's the rookie Jones, who we were just talking about. Thought he had coverage, and that flag thrown right where he was covering Reed.
This is a perfect modern-day safety. Byron
Prior
Jones.
to the pass, holding number 39, defense, 5-yard penalty, Automatic first down.
Brandon Carr is the one announced for the flag.
But Jordan Reed with just 2 catches and 17 yards. Byron Jones, when asked to cover, has done an excellent job. The penalty's on the left side of your screen. They called it on Brandon Carr.
Garcon's right arm as he was coming out. Yep, so they called. So Washington gets a new set of downs from the 42. Final 2 minutes of this third quarter. It's the rookie Jamison Crowder. Gain a 7 to the 49-yard line.
That's that overload blitz that got home in the first half. That time, rookie Matt Jones did an excellent job coming across the formation to pick up this Cowboy overload blitz. Watch the rookie halfback, number 31. It's a nice job picking up Sean Lee. Got to go into the locker room, draw the blitzes up that got home in the first half because you know they're coming in the second.
180. Wait up.
2nd and 3. Reed, flag down, first down.
That might be offensive pass interference on Reed. They're calling everything tight tonight.
Illegal hands to the face, number 31, defense. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is completed pass, first down.
Well, they'll get the gain of 17 yards against the rookie Jones we were just talking about.
Good call.
Interesting matchup here. We've seen 3 different times on this drive. Jones matched up with Reed. The time Cousins connects. So back-to-back first downs through the air. It's Matt Jones on the ground. And that's strung out for a minimal gain as we get to the final minute of this third quarter.
Dallas can stuff the run. Much improved. You see Crawford, 58, Hayden. They have depth in this front four. It allows them to stay fresh. And it keeps them alive late in the third quarter and in the fourth quarter. And Deshaun Jackson in the slot is a man that Washington likes to look for in these critical situations.
The 2nd and 11. And Cousins completes it to Jackson. He'll be shy of the first down at the 30. And that should bring this third quarter to an end.
Playing his own defense, Dallas is, and Deshaun Jackson just on an outside breaking route catches the ball to set up a 3rd and manageable for Cousins. Got to be careful in field goal position. You don't want to take a sack here. They must expect a blitz.
Yards hard to come by. Every play increases in importance. Through 3, all even at 6, Washington and Dallas.
ESPN, celebrating the legacy of Monday Night Football.
Game's first touchdown. We hit quarter number 4 just outside the nation's capital on this comfortable December night. Mike Tirico, John Gruden, Lisa Salters with you. Washington starts with 3rd and 5. And it's Crowder. Not going to get there. What a play. Sean Lee. The captain comes through for the Cowboys, and he'll force a 46-yard field goal attempt.
Boy, you said it, Mike. They fake a quick screen to their right, and Sean Lee comes out of the trash and makes a great play. Watch him read out of this. That's taking the perfect angle, and what a tackle in a one-on-one situation by Sean Lee against Crowder, who's been a dangerous runner after the catch.
See how Crowder's head hit the turf there. After the catch, 46-yard field goal attempt for the lead. Dustin Hopkins, good height on that, and knocks it through. Impressive performance by Hopkins, who they signed week 2. Washington leads by 3. ESPN's Monday Night Football brought to you by AT&T, mobilizing your world. McDonald's now serving all-day breakfast. Cialis and ESPNFanshop.com, powered by Dick's Sporting Goods. 9-6, Washington leads, trying to get to 500. Jason Witten and Dallas trying to somehow, some way keep their hopes alive. Matt Castle, who started for 5 different teams, started on that Cal Northridge team in the Little League World Series back in 1994. We've seen Matt in many places for many years. Of course, that season that he replaced Tom Brady when Brady was hurt in the opening quarter of the opening game of the year. And Castle cashed in with a big contract in Kansas City. Now the Cowboy fans hope he's got a big comeback in. A lucky Whitehead on the kick return, pulled down at the 22-yard line. Well, ESPN in the midst of Jimmy V Week, trying to raise funds and awareness for cancer research. For more information, go to ESPN.com/Jimmy V Week. We appreciate your support.
You know, Mike, we went to training camp, watched the Cowboys. They had Joseph Randall. They had Lance Dunbar. McFadden was coming off an injury. They were going to do it by committee, replacing DeMarco Murray, and it's going to be Robert Turbin. Released by Seattle, released by Cleveland. Looks like he's going to be the back that takes Dallas home.
On the 22-yard line, it's Castle on the boot. He's got space. He's going to give it to Hanna, his tight end. James Hanna does his 4th catch of the year, who gets the first down at the 32-yard line. Mason Foster makes the tackle. John, you spoke of Turbin, who signed 3 weeks ago after he was released by Cleveland. He had spent that time backing up Marshawn Lynch in Seattle, a 4th-round pick of the Seahawks. It's so much planning goes into your season, and when you lose DeMarco Murray, that was the question: who's going to step in? McFadden has fumbled twice, was looked at for injury earlier on, has not come back since that fumble that caused the injury. Turbin on the carry to the 38-yard line, again tackled by Foster.
This Robert Turbin, he is a Super Bowl champion, and he knows how to come in off the bench and make key plays in key moments. And I remember in a playoff game here a couple of years ago, when he was a member of the Seahawks, he did some very good things with and without the football.
Scott Linehan, the offensive coordinator, Jason Garrett, they've got Des Bryant, they've got Jason Witten, but a lot of other parts they are missing in this offense. Castle's got time, looked deep, and was covered. Lucky Whitehead short, first down. Dallas puts together a couple of first downs. They're at about 43.
Pass protection so critical on that play. They're taking a shot down the field. Nobody's open, and he's just going to look deep, look intermediate, has plenty of time to check it down to his outlet in the flat. Outstanding work by this offensive line of the Cowboys.
Snap comes from the end of the 1st-round pick in 2013, Travis Frederick. To Castle. Now finds middle. And complete for the first down to Devin Street, who lost the football in the hands of Will Blackman. A 3rd Dallas turnover on the night.
Can't fault Matt Castle for that. Perfect play selection. They eliminate the underneath coverage, throw the ball to a wide open receiver.
And then a fumble recovered by the defense. First down.
And Mason Foster stripped the football, and that might be replayed.
That's really close. Is Street down as the ball coming out as Foster's trying to pull it out. Automatically reviewed. All right, Walt Anderson is looking in review at this play, and so is Dean Blandino at Game Day Central in New York. Devin Street, ball starting to come out. Bottom hits the ground, ball then comes out. And here's Walt Anderson with the decision.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field of a fumble stands as called. First down.
Jerry Austin, that's what you were thinking it was going to be during break. What were you looking at to help you decide, along with those guys, it should be stands?
Well, first, you want to determine when the ball is coming out. And when they start pulling it away from his body, you see the ball moving. It's starting to turn. You can say then he doesn't have control, and his bottom is still about 6 to 8 inches off the ground.
So it's a 3rd turnover by Jason Garrett's team. And John, what a story change from last year it has been. Dallas not able to get the turnovers. -3 here tonight. At Jones to run for 3.
Well, they're -15, Mike. And you're not going to win football games no matter who your quarterback is. And Jason Garrett, that's the one statistic he talked about the most last night. Last year, 31 takeaways, they're +6. That's 21 possession different when you go from +6 to -15. And there's only one thing Dallas can do now. That's get a turnover of their own. Somebody's got to intercept the pass or strip the football and give the Cowboys some life.
An incredibly low number of turnovers. 7 turnovers caused by the Dallas defense in now 47 quarters of football. Cousins on the boot. Crowder crossing out of bounds at the 40. And a first down gain of 20 for Jamison Crowder.
I go back to this offensive scheme the Redskins run. They are so committed to running the football, whether they gain a lot of yards or not, because it sets up the play action passes and the bootlegs. And if you look at Kirk Cousins' passing statistics on play action passes and bootlegs, you'll see why he's completing a lot of passes.
At the 40, Matt Jones. Once again, Sean Lee having an outstanding night. Loss of a couple. John, back to your point of Kirk Cousins and play action passes this season. Highest passer rating in the league in those situations.
And that's important that they continue to run the football, but Sean Lee is running through gaps and causing a lot of problems for Washington tonight. I can't tell you how impressed I am with Lee and his performance tonight.
From the 41, Cousins, pressure on, gets away, and completes it down the sideline to Deshaun Jackson. Terrific job to keep the play alive, and it's a Redskins first down.
That's an NFL pro football play by Deshaun Jackson. I call the sideline the 12th man, and you got to track the sidelines, especially on scramble plays. Deshaun Jackson, let's see if he stepped out of bounds. No, he did not. And Kirk Cousins eluding the rush, keeping the ball in a throwing position, makes an important throw to Jackson.
First and 10 for Cousins.
Sean Lee.
Again, one more time, and we've seen Jones tackled by Lee at least a half dozen times tonight.
It looks like Leroy Jordan out there, Mike. I mean, he is making tackles from all over the place. And Washington continuing to run this outside zone play. He gets off of Jordan Reed's block and stuffs Matt Jones.
12 tackles on the night for Lee. Chris Thompson comes in. Alfred Morris, has not carried since the first quarter. Thompson, open field tackle by J.J. Wilcox. The Dallas defense hasn't gotten the turnover, but they continue to make play after play to give their team some hope here as we get to the halfway point of the fourth.
That's really good defense. They bring Sean Lee on a blitz. He's unaccounted for. Cousins throws it to his hot receiver, and J.J. Wilcox with a beautiful one-on-one tackle. 3rd down and 7 has been a blitz down for the Cowboys all night tonight. Offensive coordinator Sean McVay, I'm sure, expects it. Here they are in a double A gap look. Both linebackers between the center and the guard.
Third and 7. Cousins throws it complete to Thompson, who is tackled. It's a minimal gain as Barry Church makes the stop, but still keeps Washington in field goal range. Deshaun Jackson hopping mad because he was wide open.
Well, take a look at it. Working against Brandon Carr. He wanted a shot right there.
He wasn't wide open. He's running around over there. He was open. He wasn't wide open.
You got to be able to listen to the elevator music if you're a coach down there, Mike.
The kickers are 5 for 5 tonight. This is Hopkins from 43. to extend the lead to 6. That is no good. It is wide right. Hopkins has missed inside of 50 for the first time this year. There remains a 3-point game. World's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden. Tomorrow night, Jimmy V Classic College Hoop doubleheader. West Virginia taking on Virginia, and Maryland taking on UConn. Some teams that have made good early season performances. Teams of interest in this area as well. You'll see that on ESPN. Also, it will be streaming live, as always, on Watch ESPN. Ball comes to the spot of the missed field goal. McFadden's back in. Lucky Whitehead around the end into Washington territory very quickly for a first down gain.
Got to keep track of Lucky Whitehead when he comes in the game. They use him just like they used Dwayne Harris, who left to go to Dallas, or excuse me, to the Giants. Just a jet sweep. They don't block anybody at the point of attack, and Whitehead uses his speed to get the edge. That's the second time they've run that play.
Gained 13 the first time, 22 that time. And Lucky Whitehead with 35 yards in those 2 carries. Has as many yards as their leading rusher, Darren McFadden, who's back in. Dallas has it at the 45. Castle. Downfield shot. Dez! Caught it! Inside the 5. At the 3. Bryant catches his first of the night on Will Blackman.
It's a matter of time. Des Bryant on a double move against Will Blackman. Little stutter go. And Castle laid it out front and let Des go get it.
42 on the
Similar
pass and catch.
to the ball he caught against Green Bay in the playoffs. Let's see if he has the catch. Does he complete the process?
Tylon Can gives you the look. Des had it
Great
secured to his 8s. All the way through. First and goal. Dallas for the lead. Castle. Pass was knocked down. She ruled a forward pass and incomplete. Eugene Francois was there as they saw Bryant take that wide alignment and sensed that slant was coming.
Well, it's a running play, and he has a built-in bullet slant against this all-out blitz. That ball's batted down. Bryant, who's been in double-digit touchdown territory the last 3 seasons, would love to get it going in December in the red zone for Dallas. They've struggled down here to get touchdowns.
From the 3, they will run inside McFadden. First carry in a while to the 2-yard line. 5:45 to go.
Well, if I'm Dallas, I'm going to take a good look at this offensive line, and I'm going to run the ball. Here comes 2 big tight ends. Escobar, Hanna. Multiple tight ends. First-round draft choices. At left tackle, center, right guard. Rookie Lyle Collins. Be surprised if they don't come off the rock here and hand the ball to McFadden.
They run McFadden. Not gonna get there. Chris Baker started it. Will they go for the field goal for the tie, or will they try to punch it in? 5 minutes left.
Got to kick the field goal. I'm shocked. Dallas was stuffed on a 3rd and 1 earlier, and this time a short yardage situation on a goal line. That play had no chance.
It is incredible with the quality of offensive linemen. They have 3 first-rounders, all good players, and they have been really poor in short yardage, as you alluded to earlier. Baker, the big play. Bailey to tie the game at 9. Bailey's made 3. Hopkins has made 3. Washington's defense comes up with a big stop there. 9th regular season meeting between these 2 teams. Only other time there's been the Cowboys-Redskins game without a touchdown, October 2nd, 1978. Joe Theismann took a safety at the end of that, a 9-5 win. For those of you who live in New York and Boston, you know that as Bucky Dent Day. It was on a Monday. That was a Monday Night Football game that ended up 9-5. Dent hit the homer in 1978, the one-game playoff. Yankees went on beating the Red Sox to go on to the ALCS. 9-all here. And another chance to return a kick for Rashad Ross. Ross trying to get to the edge. Ross cut it upfield, and a good team's play to bring him down at the 30. Barry Church came flying in to knock him off his legs.
Kirk Cousins has to be alert for the blitz. Dallas has their season on the line, and they've had great success mixing up a variety of blitzes on every down. Be surprised if Rod Marinelli doesn't stay with it.
Jay Gruden trying to run down to get timeout, and he was able to get the timeout before the snap came.
Compton did not check in the game.
Yeah, they have 10 guys on the field. Jay saw that, ran down, called the timeout. 9-9, 4:16 to go. Washington taking over, first down. Just inside their own 30-yard line. Each team 2 timeouts left now. Turned out to be a gain of 3 for Jones. Greg Hardy on the tackle.
18 carries for Jones, Mike. Alfred Morris only 6. Down on the sideline, running back coach Randy Jordan likes to stay with the hot hand, and you have to tip your hat to Jones. He's also picked up some blitzes. He's probably a better receiver of the two. Look for blitz if you're Washington. That's been the game for the Cowboys tonight.
And the 32 lead, unblocked, and Cousins had to get rid of it. It's incomplete. So Sean Lee has been everywhere tonight. That time came through untouched and forced the pass.
Well, he times it perfectly. Watch number 50 shoot this gap. And Jones is aligned deep in the I formation. You have to cheat up and get yourself in a position to pick up these blitzes because they are relentless. And I'd be shocked if we don't see another one. Here they are in the A-gaps.
So odd. One of the lowest percentage blitz teams in the league. It's gone against its tendency here to put pressure on Washington tonight. 3rd and 8. Here they come again. Jones picked it up. Cousins shot for Garcon. Incomplete. And Dallas will get it back with 3.5 left to go in regulation.
Blitz. Trust your man-to-man coverage, people. We talked about it in the pregame. Dallas not afraid to play man-to-man coverage. Claiborne, first-round draft choice. Byron Jones, first-round pick. And Sean Lee has been in the face of the quarterback a lot.
Lucky Whitehead back to get the punt from Tress Way. Whitehead on the run at the 28 and comes down quickly. Sean Phillips was looking for a flag, thought he was taken down. He did make the tackle, and Dallas will take over at the 32. So what is ahead for these teams? A season that ends against the other guy on the opposite sideline in Week 17 when everybody plays division games. Washington has 3 road games left. Haven't won a road game yet. Philly, 3 home games in a row, but tough. Buffalo, Arizona. Who knows what will be on the line when Washington goes to Philly. The Giants next Monday night in Miami. Undefeated Carolina at Minnesota. We know how good the Vikings have played up until yesterday and their closer. And the Cowboys are in Lambeau, take on the Jets, and go to Orchard Park on the final Sunday of December. Nobody's got an easy run. Division wide open. And Dallas in the conversation if they can score on this drive. Castle over the middle, Whitten. First down.
A lot of play action passes on first down, taking advantage of this aggressive Redskin defense. That time they fake a trap. You're going to see the guard pull, linebacker step up, and Jason Witten on a crossing route. Beats the rookie, Kyshawn Jarrett. Nice throw by Castle.
I thought he was going to get forward progress to the 42. They mark him a half yard short. 2nd and 1, 2:48 to go. McFadden falling forward for the first down. Will Compton grabbing at that left-handed arm.
And the Redskins are going to have to make something happen on defense. Dan Bailey, one of the great icemen in all of football, a great field goal kicker. And all you need to do is to get the ball to the 40-yard line, and you're in Bailey's range.
They don't have to run a play here with the play clock now at 10. And this comes just at the 2-minute warning, and it's incomplete, intended for Whitten. So the 2-minute warning comes at 1:56, and it's another Monday night at the 2-minute warning, and the game is in the balance.
Just another tie game with a 2-minute warning on Monday Night Football. Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Levy. Make sure you stick around after the game at SportsCenter at night in the GMC postgame report. I'll be joined by the usual suspects. Trent Dilfer, Steve Young, Ray Lewis will break it down, talk about the wacky NFC East. Also, Ramona Shelburne will join Scott Van Pelt, talk about her interview with Ronda Rousey, the first since her defeat, and Kevin Garnett turning back the clock 10 years ago on a jam. SportsCenter at night, immediately following the game. Mike and John, take us home.
All right, Leaves, thank you. 2nd and 10. 2 timeouts each way. All replays initiated upstairs by the replay booth. Dallas trying to get over 20 yards, getting field goal range for Des Bryant, fought for it with Breland, ruled no catch, ruled, and then the ball comes out as he comes down. Now the two officials talk and they say catch now. One overrules the other and says catch.
Is a catch. First down.
That'll be incomplete,
Okay.
I believe, Mike.
See here, where are the feet when he does secure the ball? Secures it there. That second foot
Ruling
never
on the field
comes
of
down
catch is under
on
further
the
review.
field. The second foot that he's trying to tap comes down on a cleat of one of the Redskins, and then the elbow comes down on the white. We'll take a tighter inspection during this timeout. The overrule was complete on the field, automatically reviewed as they said come down and stop it. Jerry Austin, we think it's going to be incomplete. Let's look here.
3 things. First, when does he secure the ball? Second, does the elbow hit out of bounds before the knee hits out of bounds? It appears that the elbow hits out of bounds. That would make the pass incomplete. Elbow hits and then the knee hits. Incomplete.
Here's Walt Anderson.
After reviewing the play, the pass is incomplete. It'll be 3rd down at 10 at the 43-yard line.
Des Bryant has been involved in some incredible plays. Green Bay in the playoffs last year. Now this. That's a photo finish. 3rd and 10.
Wow.
Kerrigan at the bottom of the screen. Redskins sack leader. Against Doug Free.
Whitten also at the bottom of the screen. How many big 3rd down catches has he made? Washington brings pressure in the middle. It is nearly intercepted by Blackman.
Joe Barry, the defensive coordinator, brought the house. He brings everybody. Up the middle, off the edge. And you're going to see on the left side of your screen, Will Blackman has a chance for the interception. And Deshaun Jackson is back deep.
It's so interesting. Father-in-law against son-in-law. Neither one blitzes much. They've blitzed all night. Deshaun Jackson brings the crowd to his feet here in Washington. Chris Jones kicks. Jackson desperate to get going to the 16. Not much room, trying to make a lot happen here. Big circle back by Jackson, trying to pick up blocks. And he lost the football! And it's recovered by the punter, Jones! Jackson trying to do too much, may have blown the game for Washington.
Unbelievable. When Dallas needs a turnover the most, they get it at the end.
Other players were down there celebrating. The punter was wise enough to keep an eye on the ball, and Jones got the recovery.
You carry the ball like a loaf of bread against the Dallas Cowboys, bad things will happen.
Let's see if he's down. This is another tight one here. The first look, his wrist that's holding the ball comes down. The wrist is part of the hand, if you remember from that being sorted out back a couple of years ago.
Well, I think that ball's out.
Another one for tight inspection. Deshaun Jackson trying to make so much happen on that instead of taking what was in front of him, trying to hit the home run. Frustrated throughout the night for not being involved in the passing game. Would have been down there at the 24-25. Circumnavigates the field, essentially runs 22 yards backwards, then gets hit. And credit the punter Jones for being on the ball and on the spot. Now this tight look. Is anything down there? Gonna bring Jerry back in. Let's talk about that whole wrist. Is the wrist part of the hand situation when determining if a body part is down or not?
The interpretation is that the wrist is part of the hand. So we got to look at the knee. When does the ball come loose from his hand and that right knee? That's going to be the determining factor. And there has to be irrefutable evidence to be able to change it. There's the knee. I mean, there's the ball. It's out before the knee or the butt touches.
That's a careless play in that situation. I'll be shocked if this isn't a fumble. Reversing your field with 1:20 to go in a 9-9 game. Not a good play.
Jackson was a regular punt returner at times in Philadelphia.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Fumble, first down.
So Dallas will have it at the 15-yard line. Washington has 2 timeouts with 1:26 left in this one. If Dallas runs the ball, they'll be in position to kick the field goal.
Well, you put your best player back there and give him an opportunity, and he took law into his own hands and made a ridiculous play.
We saw Deshaun Jackson showboat at the 1-yard line on the long touchdown last week against the Giants. We saw him on a Monday night lose the ball before going across the goal line. Robert Griffin III there trying to console him. 15-yard line. You figure what Dallas will run it twice, and there'll be about 1:15 left, and Washington's out of timeout, so we get a 3rd down snap. That'll take it to a field goal attempt probably in the last 20 seconds or so. Would leave very minimal time for Washington out of timeouts at that point.
And McFadden has fumbled twice. Let's not forget that. You're in Bailey's field goal position, obviously. Protect the football, center it, and get out of here if you're Dallas.
Fullback Tyler Klutz in for the Cowboys. McFadden running left. 10. McFadden pulled out of bounds. Now he's very close to a first down, but by being pulled out of bounds and Dallas's inability to convert short yardage tonight, going out of bounds could give Washington a lot more time, if they get the ball back. You cannot go out of bounds there.
Unbelievable. And all Washington can do now is clog up the inside gaps. But you're right, Mike. That's day 1 training camp. Stay in bounds. The only enemy is the clock.
Again, Washington's been very good on 3rd and 1s. They need to do that twice here. It is the whistle before the play. Let's see what we have. Another inadvertent whistle.
There is no play. There was a whistle blown from the stand behind the line judge. It's still 2nd down.
Boy.
Okay, well, the clock was stopped because of the out of bounds, so that doesn't affect anything other than give Dallas a refresh of the play clock.
Well, Terrence Knighton is here for a reason, to be a run stuffer, and he is the biggest run stuffer in football. Number 98. They're going to have to shoot some gaps with their linebackers to try to create a negative yardage play. Expect the linebackers to blitz this.
2nd and 1. McFadden, he gets the first down. He gets the touchdown.
And perhaps the Redskins let McFadden score to give themselves a football and a chance. Straight up the middle, you're going to see fullback Tyler Klutz lead the way. Looked like the Redskins were playing true defense, but if you're Washington, you do get the ball back and a chance. Otherwise, Dallas is going to run that down inside of 10 seconds and let Dan Bailey do what he always does. It's the best thing that could have happened to Washington is McFadden scoring.
It took 58 minutes and 46 seconds to get the game's first touchdown. 15-9, just waiting for that touchdown to be confirmed by replay, and it is. And now the extra point attempt from Bailey.
And Kirk Cousins will get an opportunity, Mike. He brought Washington back to beat Philadelphia at the buzzer. He brought them back to beat Tampa at the buzzer. Crazier things have happened. And Deshaun Jackson will get a chance to redeem himself. But what a critical mistake that he made. Reversing his field and not protecting the football. One timeout left, just over a minute.
Give me a sense. At the 24, trying to make a play happen. He had one of his fellow teammates, Jerron Johnson, get injured on that play, so he lost a blocker back there. Then the ball comes out. You see, James Hanna, the tight end, was celebrating. Jones was on the spot to get the recovery. Here's the touchdown run. It looks like Goldson and D'Angelo Hall are trying to make the tackle there. And McFadden just kept going. Get those points. Take the 7-point lead.
But Washington will get an opportunity. I reiterate, if Dallas just puts the ball on the ground and doesn't score, they're going to run that thing inside of 15 seconds and kick a field goal.
And even if McFadden goes out of doesn't go out of bounds, it forces Jay Gruden to use one of his timeouts. He just have 2 and a minute 14 left here. Ross on the run is going to get there from the 1, get a kick return. And Rashad Ross reverses his field there, and Ross with a nice return. A very good return with flags coming down as he gets to the 44-yard line. Flags come down late.
The 9th one on Washington, and this one's coming back again.
Move the flags back to the spot of the foul, which looks to be the 35-yard line.
During the return, personal foul, grabbing the face mask, number 27, kicking team. That's a 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
Did not see that. That's Wilcox.
I saw the head move a little bit, but I thought where the flags were thrown, it happened on a play back behind there and not at that tackle spot.
Look out at Dallas now, Mike. Hardy was brought here for this reason. Take a look at the penalty. 27 has his hands on the face mask there. Washington in 4-down territory. Can the Cowboys and this pass rush close the game out? Hardy, number 76, brought here for this situation.
How rare to get a face mask penalty on a return, not on the returner in that situation. So it starts at the Dallas 43. Cousins out quick. Garcon sideline, 33-yard line. Still the full complement of time, or 2 timeouts. We're going to be just short of the first down at the mark.
And the Cowboys have had all their success with pressure, blitzing tonight. Will Rod Marinelli call another one inside of a minute.
You know how desperate Deshaun Jackson is to get the ball, to try to atone for the mistake on the punt return. Cousins again to Garcon. He and Morris Claiborne both go down. There's no flag, and it'll be 3rd down and a yard now.
Claiborne has played well tonight. Bump and run coverage, sticky bump and run. I think Garcon just slipped with it. 3rd down and 1.
Very good no call by the official there. Seeing the play, not the result. Washington a couple of shots to get the first down. 57 seconds left. And a run to get the first down. And we'll do it with Chris Thompson inside the 30 to the 28-yard line. And Jay Gruden will use one of the 2 remaining timeouts here with 48 seconds to play.
Run the football, get a new set of downs, and give Kirk Cousins a chance to talk on the sideline. Jordan Reed is the player they like to isolate in these 2-minute situations. He's been awful quiet in this game. And in the red zone, particularly, Jordan Reed is the man that has decided some games in the Redskins' favor in these situations. Randy Gregory has checked in to rush the passer. Hardy. Much talked about Cowboy pass rush. Now is the time for them to back it up.
From the 28-yard line, Kirk Cousins firing right, firing is a Jackson! Touchdown! Redemption!
How about Jay Gruden calling Deshaun Jackson's number after that fumble? Unbelievable. Cowboys, Redskins. What'd you expect? Kirk Cousins throws a perfect ball to Deshaun Jackson, who has a foot on Morris Claiborne. And that's that coverage we talked about in the pregame. One plug. One guy deep, one plug in the middle underneath. And if you have a matchup with speed, you better use it.
Extra points, as you have seen throughout the last 2 weeks. Nothing guaranteed about it. Hopkins to tie the game at 16. Oh, tough job with the snap. Way let it get into his body. Got it down. Hopkins picks it. Game tied at 16. Whoa.
Wow. Great job getting it down. He gets sticky fingers in this situation, Mike, and I think he kicked the laces.
He sure did. He had the laces just facing a bit off, almost to 8 o'clock on your watch. No touchdowns in the first 58 minutes, 46 seconds. Then the mistake by Jackson leads to the touchdown. It was Jackson's punt return, hoping to hit the home run. Instead, it was a big swing and a miss. The fumble recovery by the punter, Chris Jones, the first time since 2007 that a punter recovered a fumble of one of his own punts. But then Jackson, waiting for that redemptive moment, gets it on the absolute perfect pass from Kirk Cousins. 2 touchdowns in 30 seconds, and the NFL happens again. We go from a hard-to-watch 9-9 pillow fight to one heck of a finish. Bill Parcells' old line was, winning's a great deodorant. Great finishes are a deodorant for less than terrific games, and this has turned out to be a pretty memorable Redskins-Cowboys game.
Dallas has a lot of time.
Sure
Still
do.
a lot of football left to be played, and Matt Castle is no rookie.
And the 2 timeouts, and Bailey, who you talked about before, John, to kick it deep. Lucky Whitehead tries to give his guys some room. He hit this hard. Whitehead across the 30. He accelerates and gets pulled down at the 42-yard line. Darrell Young with a great play to pull him down. What speed from Lucky Whitehead.
Almost disappeared in a crowd. Stop-start quickness in Lucky Whitehead makes special teams coach Rich Bisaccia proud. Got to get the ball to the plus 40 to be in legitimate range for Bailey.
Red line, that field goal range. That would be a 56-yard field goal attempt for Bailey from there. From the 44, it is Matt Castle. Pressured, got away. Castle, Des Bryant, sprinting to the sidelines and out of bounds. 30 seconds left.
Plenty of time. Excellent work by Castle in the pocket. And Des Bryant on a simple hook route against Rashad Breeland. Don't be surprised if you see a blitz by Washington. They brought it the last time in this field position.
Matt Castle, quick slant, Des Bryant again. And right at that red line, and even inside of it, Jason Garrett going to take a timeout here with 21 seconds left, so that slides them certainly within Bailey's field goal range.
Des Bryant has had quite a fourth quarter. Go back, 56 minutes go by, and Bryant doesn't have a catch. He goes down the field. He sets up a Cowboy field goal with a beautiful layout catch. And he has been his normal self at the end of this football game.
So quiet in that first half. Really the third quarter, too. Not targeted very much, but as the game has gone on, Matt Castle has had the time to look his way. You saw the numbers. So from here, a field goal is right about 54 yards. Bailey made a 55-yarder going in this direction pregame. His season long is 52. His career long was 56 last year at Seattle.
Something quick to Jason Witten. Bang, bang play. He's had success working in the middle of the field.
Cowboys have one timeout left. Washington brings the blitz. The pass is knocked down.
And they're looking for Jason Witten on motion. He goes through the flat. Ball's batted down. I thought he had Witten.
Kerrigan and Goldson were bringing the pressure and had their arms up. Let's see if it's Kerrigan.
See Kerrigan on the right side of your screen. I believe he bats this ball down. You see Witten open in the flat. And on third down is short. It's been a trouble spot for Dallas all year.
Look at Jason Witten making sure guys are getting to the right spot out of the huddle. He's the one who in that huddle who knows the most about this offense. Play clock running down, all out blitz coming. Castle rolling it, throwing it, incomplete. And we'll have the long field goal attempt coming from Dan Bailey with 14 seconds left.
It's another jailbreak blitz. Everybody in Washington comes after the quarterback. It's all one-on-one coverage, and here's Bailey. One of the best, I guess you have to say, ever, Mike.
Take the guys with over 100 attempts. Nobody's made them at a higher percentage than Bailey. His only miss was a 48-yarder wide right at Tampa. He's come through in the clutch with game-winning field goals 9 different times. From 54 for the lead. Online and good! Dan Bailey with 9 seconds left gives the Cowboys the lead.
What a gut-check performance by the Dallas Cowboys. Overcome 3 turnovers. McFadden comes off the bench, off an injury, to score the go-ahead touchdown. They have to fight back in the closing seconds with a 54-yarder, and Bailey will be going to Honolulu for the Pro Bowl, Mike.
In a league where sometimes you're challenged to remember which kicker is in which city. Kickers change so often in the NFL. Washington's had 20 of them in the last 20 years. Dallas has Dan Bailey, who has come through so often for Jason Garrett over the years and nails that long field goal from 54 to give the Cowboys the lead with 9 seconds remaining. And Deshaun Jackson will go back for the return one more time. Dallas has, let's see, they have the one timeout. Washington has the one timeout. I'm looking at the deployment of players that Washington has on the field. There are fewer blockers and more players who are likely to be involved in a Stanford Cal multiple lateral or Miami Duke, I guess would be the way to term it now, type of play.
And Bailey has as many touchbacks as anyone in football. He has the leg to knock this out of here and not make it a problem.
Dallas has almost all of their running backs and receivers on the field here to try to lateral it. Bailey does hit it on the bounce. It's taken by Jackson. Washington will try to start to set up. Jackson trying to direct traffic, flip it back to Jordan Reed, flips it over to Jamison Crowder. Time has expired. It's got to be magic now. Crowder across the field, caught but dropped. Ball on the ground, secured there, and that's ruled a forward pass, so the game's over. It was ruled that that was a forward pass, not a backward pass, and the Dallas Cowboys.
Ruling on the field as a pass was forward, hit the ground, it's incomplete, the game is over.
Go to 4-8, and there's a three-way tie atop the NFC East. And these teams will meet again on what might be a meaningful final Sunday of the season in Arlington.
Good job, Jason. Good job.
3 at 5 and 7. The Cowboys at 4-8, and for the first time in 10 games, for the first time since 2010's final game, the Dallas Cowboys have won a game that Tony Romo didn't start at quarterback. Yet another Monday night game, the 7th in a row decided by 8 or fewer. It's the longest single-season streak of one-possession games we've had on Monday Night Football since 1974. More Monday Magic here tonight, just outside of D.C. Dallas 19, Washington 16. We have the Gruden Grinder coming up. GMC postgame on SportsCenter. Steve Levy and the guys here. Scott Van Pelt back in the studio. Back here for the Gruden Grinder in a minute. The Cowboys, a winner on this Monday night, 1916 over the Redskins.